What if I told you that the baby food sitting in your kitchen right now, the one with the organic label, the one your pediatrician mentioned, the one your mother used for you, contains levels of toxic heavy metals that would be illegal if they were found in your drinking water? We tested 11 of the most popular baby food brands in America. We pulled the congressional documents. We cross-referenced independent lab results. We dug into internal company records that were never supposed to see daylight. 7 of those 11 brands failed, not by a small margin, by factors of 10, 20, 36 times the legal limits set for bottled water. And these are products designed for infants as young as 4 months old, babies whose blood-brain barrier hasn't fully formed, babies whose kidneys process toxins at a fraction of adult capacity, babies whose brains are building every neural pathway for language, memory, and attention they'll ever have. But stay with me until the end, because safe brand number 1 on this list does something no other company in the industry does. They test every single batch for over 200 contaminants and publish the results before you ever buy a jar. And the number 1 worst brand on this list, the one that earned the top spot, ran a marketing campaign built entirely on the word transparency, while their own internal documents showed 1 in 4 products exceeding the federal arsenic limit. They tested, they saw the numbers, and they shipped anyway. If you're a parent, a grandparent, or anyone who's ever handed a baby a pouch or a jar, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. We're building the most transparent food safety channel on this platform, putting real testing data back in your hands every single week. You deserve to know what's in the food you're feeding the people you love most. So here it is, 11 baby food brands we tested, ranked from concerning to absolutely unforgivable. Number 7, Baby Mum Mum Rice Rusks. The silent exposure nobody's talking about. This isn't a jarred food. This isn't a pouch. Baby Mum Mum makes teething crackers and rice rusks, products designed specifically for babies who are cutting teeth. Products that babies suck on and chew for 20 minutes at a time, multiple times a day, every day, for months during teething. That's 20 minutes of direct oral contact with whatever's inside that cracker. And what's inside that cracker is rice. Rice, as the congressional investigation documented, concentrates arsenic from soil at a higher rate than almost any food crop on Earth. Grind it into flour for a teething cracker, and the arsenic concentrates further at every processing step. The testing data confirmed what pediatric toxicologists have warned about for years. Rice-based teething products create prolonged contact between arsenic-contaminated food and developing tissue. Baby Mum Mum hasn't released comprehensive heavy metal testing data. They haven't demonstrated their products fall below concerning thresholds. They continue selling while parents remain uninformed. Here's what you need to know right now. There are safer teething alternatives: frozen washcloths, silicone teethers, cold fruit in a mesh feeder. Options that don't involve 20 minutes of arsenic exposure on repeat. Baby Mum Mum marketed peace of mind for teething parents. What they delivered sits in a category of exposure no parent would choose if they saw the data. Check your diaper bag right now. If there's a rice rusk in there, this is worth knowing before the next car ride. Number 6, Sprout Organic Foods. The small brand that hid behind its size. Sprout built their entire identity on being different, cleaner, more transparent, whole ingredients, minimal processing. The kind of brand a first-time parent discovers after an hour of late-night research and feels good about choosing. The congressional investigation found contamination anyway. Sprout Organic Foods tested positive for heavy metals across multiple product lines. Their baby food pouches, the ones marketed as healthy and pure, contained arsenic and lead. Independent lab results confirmed what the labels never told parents. Sprout is owned by Neptune Wellness Solutions, a Canadian company. That distance between corporate ownership and product manufacturing creates accountability gaps that benefit nobody except legal departments. When contamination surfaces, the question becomes a jurisdictional maze. Who answers? The parent company across the border? The contract manufacturer? The ingredient supplier 3 steps removed? The documents showed the same pattern we saw across the industry. Vague commitments to quality. No specific testing data made public. No recalls of products already on shelves. The products stayed available. Parents stayed in the dark. For parents who chose Sprout specifically because they seemed like a smaller, more honest alternative to the big conglomerates, size doesn't equal safety. The heavy metals come from the same contaminated soils, the same water sources, the same growing regions. Unless a company actively tests finished products and rejects what fails, the contamination reaches your baby regardless of what the branding promises. That squeezable pouch in your recycling bin right now might have a leaf on the label, but the chemistry inside told a different story. Number 5, Plum Organics. The premium lie in purple packaging. Beautiful packaging. Celebrity endorsement energy. Sold at Target, Whole Foods, Amazon, every premium grocery store where parents expect premium quality. Plum Organics positioned itself as the sophisticated parent's choice, and parents paid accordingly. The congressional investigation showed sophistication doesn't mean safety. Plum Organics products tested positive for heavy metals including arsenic and lead. Internal documents revealed the company used ingredients they knew were contaminated. Independent testing confirmed what the internal memos already showed. But here's what makes Plum Organics particularly damning. Their parent company at the time of the investigation, Campbell's Soup Company, was one of only 3 companies that refused to hand documents to Congress. The subcommittee stated in writing it was greatly concerned the refusal was obscuring contamination, potentially higher than what was found at brands that did cooperate. You can't hide a clean record. Companies with clean products want to show their data. Companies with problems hide behind legal teams. Plum Organics is named in multiple active heavy metal class action lawsuits through 2026, alleging elevated arsenic, lead, and cadmium in products marketed as healthy. Their Super Puff snack products tested particularly concerning, products specifically designed for babies learning to self-feed, products babies put directly in their mouths over and over. For parents who chose the purple pouch because it felt like an elevated choice, the premium was in the marketing. The contamination was identical to budget brands. You paid more for the same heavy metals in prettier packaging. That pouch sitting on your counter right now carries a brand name that refused to show Congress what was inside. Number 4. Earth's Best Organic. The name that lied twice. Earth's Best. 2 words that promise purity. 2 words backed by a USDA organic seal, beautiful packaging showing happy babies in nature, and a price tag that told parents they were paying for something safer. The lab results confirmed this was a 2-word fiction. Earth's Best is owned by Hain Celestial Group, a major organic food conglomerate with dozens of natural brands and the resources to produce clean food. They chose not to. The congressional report cited Earth's Best by name. Internal records showed arsenic levels as high as 129 parts per billion, lead levels up to 58 parts per billion. All 4 toxic heavy metals were detected: lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury. The complete collection, in certified organic baby food for infants as young as 4 months old. If you're starting to see the pattern here, if you're realizing that the organic label on your baby food was never designed to catch the contaminants actually inside it, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. It helps this video reach the parents who are still feeding these brands to their babies tonight without knowing any of this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. We're putting real lab data back in your hands every week. This information belongs to you, not buried in congressional records nobody reads. Earth's Best Organic Infant Rice Cereal. Earth's Best Organic Whole Grain Rice Cereal. Products specifically formulated for the youngest, most vulnerable humans. First foods. First exposures to heavy metals. Hain Celestial's response to the congressional inquiry was incomplete data and vague promises. No recalls. The products stayed on shelves while that nature imagery kept convincing parents everything was fine. For parents who specifically chose Earth's Best because of the organic certification, that USDA seal tests for synthetic pesticides. It has 0 jurisdiction over lead, 0 jurisdiction over arsenic, 0 jurisdiction over cadmium or mercury. You paid a premium for a certification that doesn't cover the toxins actually in the food. That jar with the green meadow on the label, the one in your pantry right now, told you what it wasn't. It never told you what it was. Number 3. Beechnut. 90 years of trust built on numbers they hoped you'd never see. Beechnut has been making baby food since 1931. 90 years of history. Generations of families. The kind of brand that gets passed down like a family recipe, not because anyone tested it, but because familiarity has always felt like safety. The congressional investigation pulled the curtain back on what 90 years of trust was actually built on. The documents confirmed what no label ever disclosed. Beechnut's internal records showed a root vegetable concentrate used in production testing at 913 parts per billion. The FDA limit is 100, nearly 10 times the federal standard, going into a jar made for a 4-month-old. Congressional investigators used the words "extremely high." That's the United States government reviewing Beechnut's own internal records. But here's the detail that should keep every parent awake. Beechnut's own internal quality standards, the thresholds the company set for itself, allowed ingredients with up to 3,000 parts per billion of arsenic. 3,000. They allowed lead levels up to 1,000 parts per billion in some ingredients. The FDA bottled water limit for lead is 5 parts per billion. Their own quality threshold was 200 times the drinking water standard. They didn't fail their own test. They designed the test to be unfailable. Congress found that beechnut tested ingredients found contamination and used them anyway because those ingredients passed the company's internally rigged standards. For every grandparent who handed a beechnut jar to their grandchild because they remembered it from their own childhood, that trust was real. The product behind it wasn't. Pick up a beechnut jar right now. That classic label hasn't changed in decades. Neither, apparently, did their standards for what goes inside it. Number 2. Gerber, the most trusted name in baby food. The most documented betrayal of that trust. That baby face, you know the one. It's been on every jar since 1928. Nearly 100 years of a single image selling trust to American parents. 9 out of 10 nurseries in this country have had a Gerber product in the cabinet. Your mother used it, your grandmother used it, your pediatrician probably mentioned it at the 6-month checkup. The testing data confirmed what that baby face was designed to make you never question. Internal documents obtained by congressional investigators showed Gerber used ingredients with arsenic levels as high as 90 parts per billion and lead levels up to 48 parts per billion. The FDA limit for lead in bottled water is 5 parts per billion. Gerber was feeding babies nearly 10 times the water limit in food they eat multiple times a day. The company knew. Internal testing showed the contamination. They sold the products anyway. When Congress came asking, Gerber refused to provide complete testing data. They claimed proprietary trade secrets, secrets more important than infant safety. Gerber rice cereal, Gerber puffs, any rice-based product concentrated arsenic because rice absorbs it from soil at rates higher than almost any other crop. For babies eating Gerber multiple times daily, that arsenic accumulates, lead accumulates, and the damage happens silently during the only neurological window your child will ever have. 100 years of a smiling baby face. That face is probably looking at you from your kitchen shelf right. Number 1. Happy Baby. Owned by Nurture Incorporated, now under Danone, one of the largest food companies on Earth. The worst documented contamination in the entire investigation, hidden behind a marketing campaign called Clearly Crafted, that was built entirely on the word transparency. The documents confirmed what that word was worth. Congressional investigators found Nurture Incorporated sold baby food with arsenic levels up to 180 parts per billion, 36 times the bottled water limit. Lead levels up to 641 parts per billion in ingredients used in finished products. 641, 128 times the water standard, in food for infants. They set internal standards that permitted 200 parts per billion of arsenic in finished products. They chose that number. They chose it high enough to pass contaminated ingredients. More than 25% of the products Nurture tested before sale exceeded the FDA guidance threshold. 1 in 4 jars. Tested internally. Seen by quality control, approved, shipped. Handed to a parent who trusted every word on that label. 1 in 4 over the federal limit, and they sent it out anyway. This isn't a manufacturing gap. This is a documented decision. Happy Baby sits in every major retailer in America. Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, Amazon, Kroger. The Whole Foods placement, the higher price point, the farm imagery, the clearly crafted campaign designed to tell parents this brand shows everything. Their own data showed 1 in 4 jars failing the federal threshold and they shipped them anyway. That's why Happy Baby earns the #1 spot on this list. Not the most recognized name, not the longest history, but the worst documented contamination paired with the most aggressive transparency marketing in the industry. Check under your sink right now. Check the recycling. If you see that logo, you now know what Clearly Crafted actually meant. Those are the 7 brands every parent needs to stop buying. But don't panic. Not every company chose profits over infant safety. Some companies saw the congressional report and the class action lawsuits and decided to build their entire operation around doing the opposite. We tested 4 of them. These are the brands that earned their place through published lab results, third-party verification, and a genuine refusal to ship anything they wouldn't feed their own children. Safe brand number 4, Little Spoon. Third-party testing results published publicly before purchase. But here's the number that matters. In their 2024 community-funded testing program, 5 Little Spoon baby blend flavors were independently tested by Lead Safe Mama. All 5 returned non-detect for lead, mercury, cadmium, and arsenic. Not low. Not within acceptable limits. Non-detect. The testing instruments couldn't find them. Little Spoon isn't named in the congressional investigation, not named in the primary class action litigation. The absence from the legal record is as telling as the lab results. Their ingredient lists are transparent, their sourcing is traceable, and the independent verification exists for any parent to check before they buy. For families looking for a brand with documented clean results and accessible pricing, Little Spoon earned its spot with numbers, not marketing copy. Safe brand number 3. Square Baby. The most comprehensive testing protocol in the industry, and it isn't even close. Square Baby doesn't just test for heavy metals. They test every batch for over 200 contaminants. Pesticides, heavy metals, toxins, bacteria. 200. Published results for every product on their website before you buy. The company was founded by a mom who previously worked in tech and brought that industry's quality control philosophy to baby food, not food industry standards, which the congressional report proved are dangerously inadequate. Zero defect tolerance. Their meals are designed by pediatric dietitians, not marketing teams, and shipped frozen to eliminate the shelf-stable processing environment that created contamination pathways in every brand on the avoid list. It costs more, significantly more. But consider what the cheaper option actually cost when the congressional investigators opened those internal documents. For parents who want verified safety backed by the most thorough testing available, Square Baby set the standard the entire industry should be held to. Safe brand number 2. Once Upon a Farm. Cold-pressed, refrigerated, and independently tested. The refrigeration model matters because it eliminates the shelf-stable manufacturing process that created the contamination environment documented in every brand on the avoid list. Shorter shelf life means fresher ingredients. Less processing means fewer opportunities for contamination. Once Upon a Farm tests finished products for heavy metals and publishes their methodology. They use third-party labs for verification. They're not in the congressional record, not named in the primary heavy metal lawsuits. They deliberately avoid rice-based products, removing the single-ingredient pathway that concentrated arsenic in the majority of the brands we just covered. Available refrigerated at Whole Foods, Target, and online. For parents with access to the refrigerated baby food section, Once Upon a Farm offers verified safety with a cold chain process that addresses contamination at the manufacturing level, not just the testing level. Safe brand number 1. Serenity Kids. Built from the ground up around one principle. Test everything. Publish everything. Hide nothing. Serenity Kids publishes batch-by-batch heavy metal test results publicly before you buy. Not annual summaries. Not certification badges. Actual parts per billion numbers for every batch that leaves their facility. No rice-based ingredients anywhere in their product line. The arsenic concentration pathway the congressional report documented across every failing brand is structurally absent from their formulation. Their pouches focus on meat-based and vegetable-based recipes with simple ingredient lists, domestic sourcing, and full supply chain traceability. They know which farms, which ranches, which processing facilities. One note of transparency from us. Lead Safe Mama independently flagged Serenity Kids cassava-based puff snacks for elevated heavy metals. Stay with the puree pouches, not the puffs. That distinction matters. Available at Whole Foods, Target, and online. For parents who want the single brand with the most transparent, verified, and publicly accessible safety data in the baby food industry, Serenity Kids did what every company on the avoid list could have done and chose not to. That pouch in the refrigerated section is what baby food should have been all along. And there it is. 11 brands, 7 that failed your baby, 4 that refused to. The 2021 congressional investigation exposed an industry-wide choice to prioritize margins over infant neurodevelopment, internal limits designed to pass contaminated ingredients, document refusals when Congress came asking, marketing campaigns built on transparency, while 1 in 4 jars exceeded the federal threshold. Smash that like button if this video changed what you're putting in your baby's next meal. Drop a comment and tell me which brand shocked you the most. Are you Team Serenity Kids? Team Once Upon a Farm? Team Square Baby? I read every single comment and I want to hear which one you're switching to. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. We're testing everything the food industry hopes you never question. Real lab data, real brand names, no sponsors, no affiliates, just the truth about what's in your food. I'd love to have you on this journey with us. Remember, sometimes the safest food for your baby isn't the one with the most trusted name on the label. Sometimes it's the one with the most transparent numbers behind it, sitting right there in the refrigerated section, waiting for you to finally see it.